Andy Bacon,
Here.
David Huntu,
Here.
Jim Miller,
Here.
Eric Curtin is absent, Chris Souza. Here. Tom Silveria,
Here.
Tom Heaney, here. Absent also is Owen Granberry.
Mr. Huntoon, you'll be voting this evening.
Got it.
Next order of business is we received a petition we have to have a special meeting on the 17th of December. And it is our opinion that we'd like to, I believe that's with you, Mr. Martland?
That's correct. It's an appeal of a planning board matter, so we need to set down a special hearing within 45 days of filing of the appeal.
Would you be available at 4 o'clock on that day? Because it's going to be a quick meeting, correct?
That would be fine, certainly.
Mr. Kane, Mr. Regan, are you available at 4?
Works for me.
Do we
Absolutely.
need a vote for that?
No, but we will advertise that and send proper notice to abutters 2 weeks before the hearing date. So I don't believe there's any need for you to vote.
Okay,
Unless
Mr.
you
Martland, we'll
prefer
see you on the 17th at 4 p.m.
Thank you.
Next order of business is the adoption. In your packet, you'll see the meeting dates for the new year. I had mine here a minute ago. Thanks. The only thing, oh yeah, it has the special meeting on the 14th. If everyone could take a look at that. I'd like a motion to accept that.
Motion to accept the scheduled meetings for 2020.
Second, do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So,
Okay.
Mr. Chair, for the record, the regular December meeting will be rescheduled for January 14th. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Thank you.
Although I will meet with you on New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve, if you'd like it.
I can't wait.
Okay. Full hearings. Mr. Heaney. Oh, we're gonna run through the calendar, right, Mr. Kane? We'll read through everything, and
Yeah, that's fine.
so just read the petition name and the address, and we'll ask if they're ready to go forward.
Atlantic Beach Suites LLC, represented by the attorney David Martland.
That may be continued to the regular meeting in January. That matter has to be re-advertised and re-noticed, and I'm working with Mr. Kane in connection with that.
I can't put a maybe, so we're gonna continue it to
I would do it to the regular meeting in
January
January.
28th.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Petition of Atlantic Beach Suites LLC, represented by the attorney Sean Bouchard.
Yes, I'm here on behalf of that matter as well, and that is the same situation, and that can be continued to January 28th.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. Martland.
Thank you.
Aquidneck Avenue Equities and Carpianto Group LLC, represented by David Martland, and this is for 850 Aquidneck Avenue.
Yeah, that matter may be withdrawn without prejudice.
You wanna do that tonight, or do you wanna continue it tonight?
We can withdraw that tonight.
Okay. So we're gonna need a vote on that, correct, Mr. Kane?
Yes.
So we'll hold that until we
Thank
get
you.
into it. Thank you. Keep going.
Brian T. Holland and Kerry Holland, by their attorney Gerard Galvin, for 8 Tuckerman Avenue.
Mr. Chairman, there's a request from the applicant to continue that matter to the next regularly scheduled meeting, which would be January 14th.
Okay, we're gonna continue that to the 14th of January.
Do we need to read the corrected petition?
Which one would that be?
For same 515 Tuckerman. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's a different
one, sorry.
petition.
Okay, so corrected petition for 515 Tuckerman Avenue LLC, represented by David Martland. This is for 515 Tuckerman Avenue.
That matter is ready to go forward.
Full hearing?
Exit Strategy LLC, excuse me, for 991 and 995 West Main Road.
Those two petitions are currently before the planning board for, just forwarded for development plan review. So that would need to be continued to the, I would say the January 28th meeting.
Okay, we're going to carry that to the January 28th, 2020 meeting.
Petition of Thomas McGrath for 299 Orphan Lane.
Are you ready to go forward tonight? So we're just asking if you're ready.
Oh, yes, yeah,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Petition of Peter D. Pipo, I think, and Ann Dill, and that's for 2 Kent Road.
Okay, thank you.
Petition of Arthur and Rosa Bonito for 9 South Crest Street.
I don't see the petitioners in the room.
We'll carry it until the end.
Petition of Colleen Weaver and Sean Sullivan for 18 Perry Avenue. Here, I'm ready.
Yep.
And Acacia Newport LLC for 32 Acacia Drive South.
That petition requires special use permit in the Watershed Protection District. It has been referred to the Conservation Commission and Planning Board. I recommend continuing that to the next regularly scheduled meeting on the 14th.
Okay, we're going to continue that to the 14th, 2020. I would like a motion to withdraw. We want to read the whole?
So, yep, petition of Aquidneck Avenue Equities LLC, owner Carpianto Group LLC, applicant by their attorney Dave Martland, on, for a special use permit from sections 212D, 1A, and 212D, 212F to allow the placement of an internally illuminated monument sign 17 feet 4 inches in height, where 4 feet is permitted, and 31 square feet in size, where 24 feet is allowed. Said real estate is located at 850 Aquidneck Avenue and further identified as Lot 992C on Tax Assessor's Plat 114.
Okay, could I have a motion to withdraw that without prejudice?
Motion to withdraw Aquidneck Avenue Equities LLC and the Carpianato Group LLC without prejudice.
Second.
On their application of 850 Aquidneck Ave.
Do I have a second?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Petition of 515 Tuckerman Avenue LLC by their attorney David P. Martland Esquire for a variance from sections 603, 701, and 803G to allow the construction of an attached garage with a side yard setback of 12 feet 1 inch, where 20 feet is required, and a pool and spa with a right side yard setback of 12 feet 2 inches, where 20 feet is required. Said real estate is at 515 Tuckerman Avenue and further identified as Lot 143A on Tax Assessor's Plat 122.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. David Martland on behalf of 515 Tuckerman Avenue LLC. With me this evening, I have Jamie Carlin. Jamie and his wife Susan are the principals of 515 Tuckerman Avenue LLC. This is a home they own on Tuckerman Avenue. What the Carlins are looking to do is to redo the garage so it is a two-car garage, and to install a pool and a spa. The issue associated with the variance tonight, there are two. One, with respect to the garage, it's because of the existing location of the single-family house is why it can't be in a different location. And with respect to the pool and spa, it's because of the CRMC setbacks and requirements that create the hardship, as well as the existing footprint. I have with me, which might help a bit, is a supplemental plan that was prepared by the architect. If I may approach.
We'll mark that Exhibit A.
So on this particular plan, you can see that where the required vegetative buffer is, as well as what's supposed to be the no construction zone. This is going to require a small variance from CRMC as well. But typically, one would want to be able to put the pool and the spa into the rear yard, but because of the coastal requirements, that simply can't be done. And so it has to be put over kind of into the side yard. And that is creating the need there for that particular variance. Then with respect to the garage, there's an incursion into the side yard setback. This is a kind of an irregularly shaped lot. It's sort of a hockey stick lot. And so that just comes over a few more feet than is allowable under the ordinance.
Can we issue a permit with the CRMC, not ruling on it?
Yeah, so CRMC requires that we get all of our town permits before proceeding with any permitting there. I also have for the board a letter from Andrew Tolland. And Andy owns the property immediately to the south. So the southerly boundary is where the pool and the spa are being located. And if I might just read into the record his letter dated November 20th, addressed to James Miller, the chairman. Dear Mr. Miller, members of the Zoning Board of Review, I am the owner of property located at 457 Tuckerman Avenue, which directly abuts 515 Tuckerman Avenue. To the south, Jamie Carlin met with me and shared with me the proposed building plans for the house and swimming pool. I am writing to express to the board that I do not have any objection to the proposed petition for variance. And if I could just submit that.
Mark that Exhibit B.
I got two here. Wait a minute, I gotta.
Yeah, the garage, if you're looking at the plan, would be in the upper left corner. Also, this is kind of a unique property in the sense that it was carved out of a larger property. And this goes back a number of years to the, I guess the late 80s, early 90s. And there were 4 lots that were carved out of this larger property. And they were all part of a variety of private agreements that essentially doesn't allow a property owner to undertake any improvements absent the consent of all the other property owners. And so there are actually 3 other abutters that are part of that. So there's Mrs. Traherne Thomas, Barbara Norton, and Jay and Phyllis Smithwick, who just recently purchased property. And so we had to go and and present these plans to these folks as well. And I've got a second amendment to improvement agreement in which they've consented to what's being proposed.
We'll mark this Exhibit C.
Extra one of those, dude.
So I don't have anything other to add to this petition. It's, the hardship is a result of the CRMC issues, where the existing footprint of the house is. Mr. Carlin was not involved in the original permitting or building of the house, so he didn't create any of these particular hardships from which he's seeking relief. And we've talked to all the direct abutters, and they don't have any objections. I do have Mr. Carlin with me. If the board has any questions for him, we're happy to answer those.
Just for you, Mr. Martin, first, just to clearly understand that the current owner did not build the home, he purchased the home as built.
That's correct. Right, the original builder of the home was Mr. Kirby, and I think there have been 2 prior owners before Mr. Carlin.
And then on your rendering here in Exhibit A, you've got a couple of red dotted lines, and you've got you have a large dotted yellow rectangle. What do those indicate?
Okay, so the yellow rectangle would indicate what the actual building footprint would be,
Okay.
imposing the required setbacks. The red dotted lines, if I could just approach the first one, which would be located furthest to the right on your page, is the jurisdictional limitation or the
Okay.
required buffer.
So that's the CRMC buffer, which nothing can be built in there with no exceptions, correct?
Well, I suppose if you could obtain a variance, you could, but they're going to, they have already imposed the 75-foot buffer on this particular property, if you review their files. Unfortunately, for Mr. Collin, they didn't file anything with the town or in the land evidence record, so
So we didn't know that.
he had no idea at the time. And then there's a 25-foot sort of no-build area that you're allowed to utilize and maintain the lawn.
Okay.
The,
And that's kind of, that's what's at issue, is those last few feet that's in that area.
in that area, that's what will be subject to the CRMC variance.
Okay,
Yeah, it looks very small on here.
okay.
So the variance for the side yard setback is that area located really essentially to the bottom of the shaded yellow.
Yep.
It's in the gray.
Okay. Just a couple of those lines weren't labeled, so I just wanted to get your testimony.
Any other questions from Mr. Martland?
So the garage
and I'm sorry, I had to pull it up and take a picture and blow it up on my phone, so I apologize. But it looks like there is an existing garage there now, is that right?
That's
Is
correct.
that like single-car garage, and that's gonna be removed? The parking area is gonna be extended where that was, and the two-car garage is gonna be placed?
Yes.
So you're looking for the 4 feet as part of that variance, correct?
That's correct.
Associated with the garage, and then you're looking on the other side, the patio and pool area, extending to the south on the map here, okay.
Is there a pretty good amount of land between the stone patio, the spa, and the neighbor's house? The one that's actually advocating for application? Maybe that's a question.
Mr. Collins' house, yeah, there would be there's a, yeah, substantial amount of land there. Does this?
Our house is full
If you, Jamie, if you want to come up and be sworn in?
Come on up. Raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony this evening will be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
State your name and address for the record.
James Carlin, 515 Tuckerman Avenue.
The reason I'm asking that question is because just for future precedents, you know, other people might look at this application and say they granted the variance.
Could you pull the mic down so
It'd be good to know that there's a lot of space over towards the neighbor's side.
There is quite a bit of space, and also ours is below, significantly below where their house is as well. And there's a tree line in between the two as well.
And was there consideration given to pulling those, I mean, are they practicably speaking as close to the house as reasonably to allow the enjoyment of those, of the spa and the pool? So a patio area, I'm assuming, that leads out to there?
Right.
And
We tucked it in as tight
It's as close
to
as
the
you
house
can
as we
reasonably get it to
possibly
be able to
could.
use it for its intended purpose?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, we worked with our architect to try to have it literally as close as possible, and we said, could we get it closer? And he was like, this is the right way to have it. We tried to turn it, we did as many things as we could to.
Any other questions for the applicant or the attorney? Okay, Mr. Martin, I'll open it up to the public.
Thank you.
Is there anyone here this evening that would like to either speak for or against the petition? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing. Can I have a motion on the?
Motion to approve the application?
Second?
Motion made and second, discussion?
I think what the applicant is doing has to do with the unique characteristic of the lot. The reason I asked the question about the neighbor was just because the real estate experts like to come in here and say that we grant these setbacks on these big pieces of property kind of haphazardly sometimes. And this one, where the neighbor has quite a bit of land next door, and is not objecting, and also seeing as how the hardship wasn't created by the homeowner. He's just trying to make best use of the house that he bought and add these features. So I'm going to support the application for those reasons.
Any other discussion?
I'm also going to support it, primarily for the reasons that my colleague just noted. However, I'd also like to add that I guess the unique agreement that was set in place by the association, so to speak, for these 4 properties, all of the folks in that are in agreement and supportive of it, and there does appear to be a significant amount of setback from the building structure of the immediate abutter. So I see no reason why I would disapprove this.
Yeah, I too, I think it's the least amount of relief necessary for the applicant to enjoy their property, so I too am going to support it. And I appreciate the fact that it's a modest, it's not a large pool at all, it's a very modest pool. And the unique shape of the lot, when I first looked at it, I was like, you know, it was very narrow. So I think no matter where they put it on the property, it would have been in a setback, so I too am going to support it. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Good luck with CRMC.
Petition of Tom McGrath, owner, for a special use permit from sections 803A to allow the expansion of a non-conforming mixed residential and commercial use by constructing an addition to the residential structure. Said real estate is located at 299 Alton Lane and further identified as Lot 32 on Tax Assessor's Plat 112.
Second petition.
Second petition.
Petition of Thomas McGrath, owner, for a variance from section 603, 701, and 803G to allow a second floor addition with a left side setback of 4 feet where 20 feet is required. Said real estate is located at 299 Alfred Lane and further identified as Lot 32 on Tax Assessor's Plat 112.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony this evening will be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
State your name and address for the record.
Thomas McGrath, 299 Oliphant Lane.
Tell us about your petition, Mr. McGrath.
The petition is pretty much as it read. I was here last month and got a petition for the addition for the first floor. And at that time, I wasn't planning on putting a second floor. Now I require a second floor for another bedroom or a little bit more living area, so we want to get a variance to have the second floor on. So, right now, if you do have a copy of all the drawings and stuff, the second floor is not going to be anywhere near as large as what that drawing depicts. Now it's going to be just a 12-pitch roof with 2 small dormers, one on each side. And those dormers don't even go out to the 4-foot mark. In other words, they don't go out to the edge of the house. So they're probably in whatever the knee wall was in. It's probably in about 3 feet from the side of the house. So essentially, I'm not even, won't even be asking to go to the 4-foot limit. It'll probably be closer to a 6 or a 7 foot in.
What's your height going to be?
The height is the same as what is on there, I believe. It's a 12-pitch roof, it's 26 feet, so it's 13 and 9,
Okay,
nine
so
and a half.
It's modest.
Yeah, we're well below what we need, The house didn't get any taller, it's just that we were going to do a full wall on the second floor and then a shallow pitch roof. Now we're doing the 12-pitch all the way back with just 2 little dormers. So essentially, the dormers, the 2 small dormers are really what I'm asking for the variance for. The rest of the house, stays within the limit of the first floor, you know what I mean? There's nothing protruding past the first floor.
Any questions for Mr. McGrath?
Currently, the house is already non-conforming, is that correct?
Well, no, everything has been approved already for this addition.
Right.
Right. So the only thing I'm asking for is basically when I put the second floor on, I'm going to have a dormer or a wall that is on top of the first floor wall out at the property line, or, 4 foot in from the property. So that's the only thing I'm really asking for, the variance for, is to have a second floor in line with the first floor. Right.
So you're not changing the footprint of the first floor
No,
in
not
order
at
to
all.
put
No,
this
not
above
at all.
it, correct?
Right,
You're
correct.
just
No,
basically dormering out and making it livable.
correct, right. At the time when we applied for the variance for the first floor, we weren't even going to put a second floor. So we were just going to have a 12-pitch roof on it, and that was, like a cape, and that's the way it was going to be. But now that want to put either a dormer wall or a small wall, even a wall that's in from the edge of the house or right on the edge of the house. That's why I'm applying for this next second floor, because of the proximity of where it's going to go. The building inspector says, even though it's a second floor, if it's at the edge of the house, which is the 4 foot away, then that's what I have to have the variance for.
Right.
Right.
And part of what Mr. Heaney was saying is because you have a mixed use, it's commercial and residential,
Right.
it is a non-conforming use.
It
so
is,
that-
yes.
That's why,
Yeah, the lot
So-
is, yeah,
right.
right.
And
Exactly.
that causes one of the petitions. That's,
Correct, yeah.
So we already approved, we already did a special use.
Right.
We just have to do another one.
right,
Second.
exactly.
Should this be worded different?
Any other questions for the applicant? Mr. McGrath, let me open it up and see if anyone wants to speak either for or
Sure.
against it. You're not coming back in a month for a third floor, are you?
I promise.
I just had to ask.
I promise.
I had to ask.
Well, the building inspector told me to ask for what I wanted the first time. He
I-
said, save you a lot of trouble, but I didn't think, I thought I'm trying to downsize. I'm going from a 2-story house. I wanted to go to a 1, but my wife doesn't want to hear it, so,
Understood.
all right?
Smart man.
Yeah.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to either speak for or against the petition? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing. Can I have a motion? On the first,
Motion to approve the special use permit?
I need to vote on the
we need to
dimensional
do the,
variance first.
we need to do the dimensional first.
Motion to approve the variance.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second, discussion?
It's essentially the same application we already saw with the expansion of the second floor. It's over the existing footprint. That's about all I have to say.
Yeah,
Hasn't changed much.
I agree with Mr. Souza. It's, all intents and purposes, we're voting on a dormer within the existing footprint, so I too am going to support. I just want to point out, Mr. Bacon, you are voting tonight, so. Any other discussion? All those in favor of the dimensional variance?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Now we can entertain a motion on the special use permit.
Motion to approve the special use permit?
Do I have a second?
I second it.
Okay, Andy, second. Discussion? I think it's a straightforward petition, it's necessary. The reason why we're voting on it is because it is a mixed use, residential and commercial, so I'm gonna support it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Good luck, Mr. McGrath, with your project.
Thank you very much.
Okay. This one was interesting.
Petition of Peter D. by people, I think, and Ann Dill, owners for a variance from section 603, 701, 802B to demolish the existing non-conforming single-family dwelling and construct a 40-foot by 26-foot two-story dwelling with a 10 by 22 deck with a front yard setback of 22 feet 6 inches where 40 feet is required, a rear yard setback of 37 feet 2 inches where 50 feet is required, and a left and right yard setback of 35 feet 1 inch and 14 feet where 20 feet is required. Said real estate is located at 2 Kent Road and further identified as Lot 99 on Tax Assessor's Plat 122.
Mr. P- can raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony, I'll do both at the same time, so. Do you swear the testimony this evening will be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
State your names and address for the record.
Peter DePippo.
If you can step up to the mic,
Sure.
that'd be helpful.
Peter DePippo. So 2 Kent Road, Middletown, residing 19 Rhode Island Avenue, Providence.
And if you can state your name and address?
Attila Keller, Rikon Homes.
I'm sorry,
Attila, Attila, and the last name is Keller, Keller. And I'm supposed to be a builder.
And if you can state your name and address for the record?
I'm Ann Dill, 19 Rhode Island Avenue, Providence.
Okay, thank you.
So it's my understanding, so we're demolishing the existing house, building in less than the existing footprint. The existing house is non-conforming, and we're asking for a dimensional variance to allow it to conform within the existing setbacks. The footprint of the new home will actually be smaller than the existing home.
Okay. And
And you should have also received a letter of support from the nearest neighbor, Payson Fugit, who is on the short side, on the right side setback, 14 feet.
okay, good.
And do you have that for the record, or would you
I
like me to
do.
read
I
it
have
into
it
the
for the
record?
record, and we'll mark it Exhibit A, and it's fax that was received at the zoning board on the 25th, and it basically says, "Gentlemen, please accept this fax as my input for your consideration at the reference hearing. I'm out of town and not able to attend the hearing. I have no problem with or objections to the zoning code variances needed to demolish the existing house and replace it with a new structure. The DePippo family has been my next door neighbor for over 50 years. I look forward to seeing the home Peter plans to build. Please approve his petition. I'm the owner of Lot 98 on Tax Assessor's Plat 122, 1 Kent Road." So we have that.
Thank you.
So it's going to be smaller than the existing, on the same footprint, and you're just here because it's a small lot.
Because it's a small lot non-conforming, the
Right.
house has been there since 1961, was built prior to my father acquiring it, and I purchased it from him shortly before he passed.
And how long has how long have you owned the property?
Since 2007, we've been paying for amount.
Okay. Any questions for the applicant?
What are the plans that were, at least the one that was shown here with the plot plan? So the current structure, you say, is larger than the one that's planned to be built, is that correct?
Correct.
So is the current structure, can you give me an understanding of where that sits on the property now in terms of setbacks?
I believe it's within the, we actually have the plan of the.
Does it show the current structure on it? Because I think the one I have, I can't see it on
It's
there.
essentially right on top of it, right?
Yes, that's correct.
So it's no larger? You said, you indicated it was smaller by a very small margin then, but ultimately, essentially, it's just sitting right on top of the current footprint?
That's correct.
Give or take a foot or so here or there?
That's correct, and that's correct.
Okay,
Yes.
that's all I was asking about. Thank you.
Is it fair assessment? Yeah, okay. Thank
Any of your neighbors express any concerns?
you. Not that I've heard.
Obviously.
No.
Okay.
Not that I've heard.
Any
They
other-
would very much like to see the property improved.
Okay, very good. Any other questions for Mr. DePippo? Let me open it up to the public and see if we have.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak either for or against the petition? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing. I'd like to entertain a motion to accept.
Motion to accept the application?
Second?
Motion made and second. Discussion?
It's essentially what's there right now with almost the exact same setbacks. It's a little bit smaller. And it seems to be positioned on that lot that way for a reason. It's almost dead center. The
Right.
driveway's already there, so.
Yeah, it's an R20 lot with only 9,000 square feet of area, so it's never going to be conforming. So to require the applicant to meet setbacks, I mean, he'd be living in a postage stamp. So I'm going to support it. I think it's the least really necessary. I appreciate that they're not trying to go larger. They're not trying to make it a bigger non-conforming. They're actually making it smaller. So I'm going to support it. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
petition of Arthur and Rosa Vino, owners, for a variance from section 603, 701, and 803G to allow a second floor addition, a 10 square foot addition to the first floor deck, and a front porch extension with a front setback of 20 feet 6 inches where 25 feet is required, a left side setback of 3 feet 9 inches where 15 feet is required, and a rear setback of 23 feet 5 inches where 30 feet is required, resulting in a 1% lot coverage increase to 30% where 25% is allowed. Said real estate is located at 9 South Crest Street and further identified as Lot 53 on Tax Assessor's Plat 116 Southeast.
Raise your right hands. You swear the testimony tonight will be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
State your names and addresses for the record.
Arthur Bueno, 21 Grandview Road, Central Valley, New York.
And Rosa Bueno, 21 Grandview Road, Central Valley, New York.
Okay, tell us about your petition.
Okay, so we're petitioning to add for a second floor addition to the existing structure.
Okay. And you need the space, it says in your petition, because you're relocating?
We're relocating and we need it for living space.
And the increase in the lot coverage is due to the deck?
Correct. There's an existing deck now in the front of the house, and we're basically just adding about 10 feet, extending it to the corner of the house. And that's the 1% addition to the lot coverage. It's a one-story deck with a roof on it.
So it's currently a one-story and you're just gonna go straight up with the second floor?
Correct.
So as depicted on the picture that was provided, the deck you're adding is underneath that overhang, just to be clear, between the garage and the house. Is it this corner right here that's being added, correct?
Correct. We're just extending to the corner and we're putting a roof on it.
Okay.
When do you plan on relocating?
We're thinking within the next 1 to 2 years.
Okay. In the interim, is it a long-term rental, short-term rental?
No, we're not renting. It's just going to be strictly empty.
Okay.
So it's not currently being rented?
No, it's
No.
not.
And how long ago did you purchase the property?
We purchased in June of 2018.
And when you purchased it, was the intention to eventually come up here full-time?
Yes.
Do you have a number of abutting neighbors? Do you have any objections from your surrounding neighbors?
We haven't gotten
Heard
any negative feedback from any of the neighbors. We've spoken to both neighbors, to both sides of the house, and they have no objection.
Okay.
So essentially, you made the footprint a little bit bigger by bringing it forward to the street, but you maintain that setback, and you're just trying to extend the little covered area right there.
Correct. I don't believe we're actually bringing it forward. We're just using the same outline of the existing deck, and we're just extending to the corner, straight across.
So the deck is currently there?
Yes.
The
just
second floor is just going to go now above it.
Well, the second floor is behind the deck. The deck is, it's basically a step up
Right.
into the front of the house.
Right.
Right.
Any other questions for the applicant? Mr. Brown, let me open it up to the floor and see if anyone wants to speak for or against it. We're good, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, it is. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak either for or against the petition? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing. Can I have a motion?
Motion to approve the application.
Second.
Motion made and second, discussion.
Essentially, they're building over the same footprint.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's minimal relief necessary for the enjoyment of the home for the purposes in which it's intended. So I don't think there's any issues from my perspective approving this.
Yeah, I too am going to support it. I think the size of the lot really controls, it's a very, very small lot. So any addition would have created the 1% increase. I think it's minimal relief for the full enjoyment of the house, and I too am going to support it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Go Yankees. That was on the record, right?
It's on the record now. Pontoon, you.
Petition of Colleen Weaver and Sean Sullivan, owners, for a variance from sections 603, 701, and 803G to allow a second-story addition to the existing single-family dwelling with a front setback of 20 feet, where 25 is required, and a left side setback of 11 feet 1 inch, where 15 feet is required. Said real estate is located at 18 Perry Avenue and further identified as Lot 85 on Tax Assessor's Plat 121 Northwest.
Raise your right hands. Do you swear the testimony this evening will be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
State your name and address for the record.
Colleen Weaver, 15 Sherwood Road, Middletown.
Sean Sullivan, 21 Gibson Road, Middletown.
Okay. Tell us about your petition, Ms. Weaver.
We'd like to add a second floor, keep the same exact footprint, and it'll be about 29 feet when we go up on it. We purchased it in August. It was in deplorable condition. We preferred not to knock it down. We would like to use the current footprint and go up. And so we're not going up over the garage. You can see there's like a overhang in the front that there won't be any living space above that. We'll just go right over the existing living space.
Okay. And this is going to be a rental property, or?
It's an investment property. We will put it on the market to sell it when we're
Okay.
finished.
Any questions from the petitioners? I guess we're good, Ms. Weaver.
Okay? What's that? Wait, thank you. Mr. Miller?
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak for or against the petition? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing. Can I have a motion?
Motion to approve the application?
Second?
Discussion?
Yeah, they're taking a house that looks to be at the end of its useful life cycle of the home and improving it, and probably at the same time improving the neighborhood without any real impactful requests here.
Yeah, I'm gonna
The
support.
setbacks.
Yeah, the setbacks already exist, the encroachment in the setbacks exists from where the house was originally built and situated, so that's not an act of the current owners. So I think it's a reasonable request to improve the property and improve the neighborhood, so I'm gonna support it. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to adjourn the meeting, 6:53.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. See you guys on the
Good luck, have fun.
the 14th at
17th.
the 17th.
17th of December.
17th of December at 4 o'clock. I have it on good.